Welcome to the Asshole Book Club. I'm going to be picking up right where I left off with Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas, which I forgot to mention in the last two chapters. I should say it every time because I like to give credit where it's due. It will be in the descriptions of those videos, though, so if you happen to see this, don't get mad at me, Miss Maas. Anyway, last chapter was kind of just an introduction to Luke Fox, who is Batwing, one of the various creative names of the Bat family. And kind of just talking about his post-traumatic stress from being overseas and his convoy or his regiment, whatever it's called, got hit by an explosive device. And just him kind of having to deal with that. Alright. Chapter 5, back to Selena. Silence lay heavy throughout the Museum of Antiquities. In the darkest hours of the night, the quiet that permeated the marble chambers was as tangible as the muggy heat outside the sprawling complex. Only the occasional whisper of the air conditioner or the jingle of a drowsy guard's keys provided any interruption. Certainly not Selena. Her black boots didn't so much as scuff against the white floors as she crept through the wings of the halls of the behemoth building, her helmet providing a steady read of the tangle of alarm sensors. It was a puzzle, and not a particularly clever one. Her helmet scanner gave her a constant stream of information, tailored to her specifics. The helmet's ears, the overly large eyes. She'd taken one of the standard helmets, death masks they called them, that the League of Assassins gave all of their acolytes, and modified it. Kitten, they taunted her. Kitty cat. Acolytes and assassins alike whispered and hissed and growled it during training sessions in the eating hall, down the walkways. One look at the spots inked on her arms, and the taunts had begun. Her fists had done the talking at first, though all it had earned her was Nisa's disdain. Control is vital. Control is everything. So Selena had taken control of the taunts, the hated nickname, all while improving her death mask, tinkering through the quietest hours of the night, deep in the science labs of the sanctuary. She'd shocked herself a few times, sliced up her fingers while cutting the wires, but in the end, Nisa had given her a rare smile of approval when Selena had come to training one day wearing her modified helmet. The audio receptors shaped like cat ears, the large eyes, and the dagger-sharp claws at the tip of her black climbing gloves. The taunting had stopped after that. Eventually, when she'd ripped open the side of Tigress, one of Nisa's and Talia's fiercest assassins and trainers, and settled things between them. And that was before Nisa had started letting her officially train with the bullwhip. Head to toe in black, her breathing barely elevated, Selena paused before the entrance to the famed Egyptian wing and surveyed the labyrinth of shimmering lasers. It was outright cliché, the web of lasers nearly invisible to the naked eye. Without the helmet, she might have resorted to an aerosol to reveal them, even more cliché. Yet, despite the helmet's map of the various pitfalls and suggested routes, Selena found herself studying the lasers, gauging the angles, the landing space, the possible disasters. The relic was displayed only 50 feet away, a straight shot down the arched marble corridor. Even at night, the small bronze cat statue was lit up in stunning relief, tribute to Bastet, the feline-headed goddess of warriors, protector of children and cats. No larger than a bottle of shampoo, the 3,200-year-old statue was in flawless condition. That, along with the gems embedded in its collar, made it nearly priceless. Nearly priceless. Someone had, in fact, slapped a price on it. A price that made Selena smile beneath her helmet and begin. Setting her weight onto her left leg, she lifted her right and eased it through the largest gaps between the shimmering sensors. Balance was key. The beam had been her best and favorite event in gymnastics. She had no idea why. Most of her teammates had dreaded it, feared it. She'd often wondered if that fear had been a poison making their balance worse. Selena eased the rest of her body through the initial gap between the sensors, landing in a small island of open air. She tucked her bullwhip in tightly for this heist, had triple-checked that it wouldn't fall loose from its place at her left hip while she moved. The guards didn't rotate into the swing for another 10 minutes. It was all the time she needed, especially when she'd taken the liberty of jamming the camera signals with a simple computer error contact provider message. One with a fake phone number that would keep the guards on hold for a good 15 minutes. Arching smoothly into a bridge over the next sensor beam, the world tilted upside down for a heartbeat as her gloved hands met the marble floor. A push of her legs and a pull of her abdominal muscles had her feet rising up and over. Her landing was smooth as silk. A dance. These movements felt like a dance, one she'd learned to enjoy. Just as she'd enjoyed taking that diamond from the Gotham Museum 3 days ago, and that trove of jewels from a shop 5 days before that. Little dances, little tests. Tonight would be another step, a bigger one. Considering those 2 burglaries had proved disappointing. Sure, she'd made off with what she needed, but no one had even put up a fight, a challenge, and no one had come looking for her afterward. Selena slid to the marble floor, slipping beneath a low-hanging beam. She'd make sure tonight was different. A larger expanse of space opened before her, leading to a more intricate web of sensors. The last stretch before the statue's glass display in the center of the hallway. She could make it with a few careful dips and ducks, but where was the fun in that? She'd been devoid of fun for most of her life, had found it only in rare moments, and even then it had been overshadowed with fear and dread. But tonight, she'd learned to take advantage of the things she wanted, including her own amusement. Sucking in a breath, again checking that the bullwhip was secure, Selena launched herself forward. The motions were muscle memory, the calculations sharp and precise, glorious. Front handspringing into a twisting backflip followed by a high soaring tuck, right into a somersault that sent her into a neat tumble over the final alarm sensor, and right up to the glass of the case. Breathing loud beneath her helmet, Selena grinned at the Bastet statue. She could have sworn that ancient bit of bronze seemed to smile back, seemed to say, "Go on, take it." So Selena did. A claw of reinforced steel slid free from her black glove, perfectly honed, perfectly ready to slice a circle through the thick glass. Selena caught the panel of glass in one palm as her other hand slid into the case and wrapped around the figure. And just as she'd planned, the alarms began blaring. Selena was gone before the GCPD arrived, but she was not done. The Bastet statue tucked into a satchel at her side, Selena knelt at the edge of a high-rise rooftop and adjusted the focus on the scope of her rifle. She didn't use guns on people, ever. She'd allowed allowed Nisa to teach her how to wield them, but she'd kept her thoughts on the matter to herself, never mentioned how she'd seen them used to such detrimental effect and destruction, how she'd seen them bring such pain and sorrow into the lives of those in the East End. So it was a good thing Nisa wasn't here, and a good thing Selena had so many other weapons in her arsenal. But for this task, Selena counted down the seconds, knew it was coming. Her finger shifted slightly on the trigger as she aimed the rifle at the top of the 11-story GCPD precinct building, the most important building in this city by her account. The door to the precinct flung open and 2 men rushed out. Selena allowed them to get close to the object they sought, the giant spotlight. She allowed them to turn it on, the beam of light spearing into the night sky, the bat icon dark against the bank of clouds. She allowed them one moment of calm before she fired. The rifle's kickback was a punch to the shoulder, but the shot was a whisper thanks to the silencer. The crack of shattering glass and metal and the shouts of the 2 officers were not. Selena fired again a heartbeat later, her careful planning and the scope's night vision allowing the bullet to fly perfectly. The glowing power source on its lower left side shattering before the bullet embedded into the brick wall of the stairwell entrance. More shouts and cursing from the men, now whirling in her direction. But Selena flicked the safety back on the rifle, shouldered the weapon, and prowled for the stairs, little more than a shadow against the night. This time, someone would come looking. Hopefully, they'd want to play. Alright. Our first description of a heist from Catwoman. Very nice. One note, though, suppressors do not make a gun completely silent. Like, that's not how they work. They just muffle the sound a bit, but a high-powered rifle is still going to make noise from a suppressor. They only are completely silent in, like, movies and video games. But, you know, guns are loud. Anyway, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching the full thing, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you later.